And breaking tonight, according to the Home Office, only 21 foreign nationals have been removed from the UK since the government toughened asylum rules after Brexit in January 2021. And earlier today, GBNews exclusively revealed that a massive 60% of small boats crossing the Channel are from Albania. Yep, that NATO member country. In response to these staggering figures, Priti Patel has launched a rapid removal scheme where illegal migrants from Albania will be fast-tracked back to their own country. Under the plans, which start next week, any Albanians who claim asylum will have their cases processed immediately, and those with no right to be in the UK will be removed as soon as possible. So, with the Home Office looking to finally get to grips with the illegal crossings on the Channel, tonight I'm asking you this. Is the Albania rapid removal plan enough to help solve the migrant crisis? Let me know your thoughts by emailing dan@gbnews.uk, tweet me at gbnews, and while you're there, you can vote in our poll. The results shortly. But to help you make up your mind tonight, I'm joined by former SAS trooper Phil Campion, the broadcaster Narinder Kaur, and Conservative MP Daniel Kaczynski. Daniel, let me start with you. My concern about this plan is that a lot of the illegals who come across the Channel are undocumented. They dump their passports in the sea. They often lie about where they've come from. So won't the Albanians crossing the Channel just do that and make it impossible for us to prove that they're actually from that country?
Well, I think the most important thing to say is I was part of a British parliamentary delegation to Tirana earlier this year, and a cross-party delegation of British parliamentarians. And what was very interesting for us, we can only speak from the political context, what was very interesting for me and my fellow parliamentarians is the wide range of political figures that we met from different political parties. It seemed to us that there is a genuine functioning democracy in that country where political parties are holding each other to account. And the country is stable, peaceful. There is no civil war going on in Albania. And I think it's extremely important that we work with the Albanian authorities to make sure that people who are leaving that country illegally to come here as economic migrants are dealt with expeditiously.
So you back this plan from Priti Patel?
Oh, absolutely. I back it unequivocally. But can I just say, we have in Shrewsbury some wonderful Albanian people who contribute enormously to our town. So we've got to get this into perspective. Although I appreciate the measure very much and support the Home Secretary, we must remember also that many Albanian people in this country make a massive contribution to our society, and we shouldn't stigmatise all Albanians.
No, of course. I mean, if they're coming here illegally, if they're coming here legally, Phil Campion, absolutely. But the problem is, Phil, they are using illegal routes now to come across the Channel. I mean, do you think this plan is going to work, Phil Campion?
I think it's a step in the right direction, but I still think more needs to be done. You know, myself personally, I've been across the Channel on a small boat. I've proved the route. I've done it, and I've found it extremely easy to do so. And I'm no seaman, trust me, all right? So I found it extremely easy to do. What we've done by making it so easy for these people to get here is create a supply and demand for some criminal elements who've said, that's a great idea, let's get them over there. We've made it extremely attractive for people to come to this country, and we've made it for the right people, or who are technically the wrong people, but the right people for this scenario, they've flourished in it because they've said, right, we'll get them over here. And whether they're taking £600 or £100 to put them on a small dinghy, they're bringing them, okay? And we've made it that way, okay? If you really need asylum, you'll take asylum in the first place you get to. You'll go, wow, I'm out of there. This is actually where I'm safe. But no, they're punching all the way through. They're paying lots of money to get themselves illegally over here because they've heard it's the land of milk and honey and they'll be treated well and there's no chance they'll be taken back. And so what we've done is we've created this thing which has actually made a problem for our own back. We've made the rod for our own back.
No, I completely agree. Narinder Kaur, do you support this plan?
Phil, I'd just like to say, how have we made it easy for them? Getting in a dinghy and risking their life. How is that easy? And that isn't illegal. That's the only route they have. They can't come through a visa route.
Narinder, they're in France, but they're in France.
On a dinghy and risk their life.
Sorry, Narinder, just hold up one second. Narinder, just hold up one second. I'll let you finish that point. but I really have to pick you up on this. What is unsafe about living in France? What are they fleeing
Dan,
from? They're in France, Narinder.
France take enough. Britain takes the least amount of migrants ever. They take the least amount. We took, 22,000. We took the least amount. And what is it about Albanians? Why is the whole emphasis on Albanians?
Because do you not understand, Narinder? They are from a safe country. We should be offering asylum to people from genuine war zones, like Afghanistan, like Syria.
No, Dan, you're very mistaken there.
What's wrong with Albania?
We have signed a treaty where we can take refugees who need safety. It doesn't mean war just because you take Ukrainians.
But did you listen to what Daniel Kaczynski just said about Albania?
Ukrainians you've taken are not. Who said they're not criminals? What makes them such nice people? Why are the Albanians bad people?
How did you want to respond to Daniel Kaczynski quickly, and then I'll get him back in?
Sorry?
Narinder, you said you wanted to respond to something Daniel Kaczynski had said.
Oh, you said that we must remember that some Albanians are great, are good people. Well, so are most immigrants who come over. You'll get good and bad. Why are we focusing just on the Albanians? The Ukrainians that everyone seems so happy to take. Who said they're not bad people?
Well, Daniel Kaczynski, surely the point is we're focusing on the Albanians because they are the vast majority, or at least the majority of folk using illegal means at the moment across the channel, and they're coming from a safe country.
Well, we had, I think,
That's a different point.
We had an unprecedented number of people coming illegally across the channel just this week, nearly 1,300 in one day. On the way here to the studio, in the taxi, I counted 6 people on the streets of London sleeping rough. We find it difficult, which is probably one of the most galling sights you can see. But just 6 people in one short journey between my home and the studios. We are struggling at the moment to deal with our own people without actually allowing 1,300 illegal migrants to enter the United Kingdom in an illegal way. And all we want to do, and the reason I back Priti Patel is this, she wants to destroy and eliminate those criminal gangs who are making hundreds of millions of pounds every year from risking people's lives. Of course we want genuine. Many Albanian economic migrants have tremendous skills and they want to work and contribute to the United Kingdom. We would welcome them if they come on work permits, but not illegally across the English Channel. And by the way, may I just say this lastly?
That's legal.
In every general election I fought, immigration has been in the top.
Narinder, just let Daniel finish his point. Daniel finish his point.
Every election, I've been an MP now for 17 years, and every election I've fought, immigration has been in the top 3 or 4 issues that the British people have raised. I want to eliminate immigration from being in the top 4 or 5. I want to focus on the things that really matter to people, like schools and hospitals. And the only way that we're going to convince the British people not to catapult immigration into the top 4 or 5 top issues concerning them at any general election is to demonstrate to them that we've got a grip on our borders.
Absolutely.
And we are allowing people into this country legally.
Can I just say, the British people are incredibly generous. We're incredibly welcoming. But all we're saying, Phil, is that the people who are entering this country need to do so through a process, need to do so legally. That is why we voted for Brexit, Phil, because we demanded control of our borders. And that's why it's so galling that it still hasn't happened.
Absolutely. I get that totally, Dan. And listen, in answer to your question about how it's being so easy, if it wasn't themed as being easy, they wouldn't do it for a start. And when was the last time you went? I've been and done it, okay? And the other point is, when I worked in Albania a number of years ago, our interpreter, who was a very nice fella, I said to him, look, this is a beautiful country, and your people are really nice. Why is there so many trying to get back to the UK? And he said, because it's an easier deal than what we get out here. Your benefit system is so much better than ours. So there's a lot of people coming over here, not because they're running away from a feud, not because they've got problems at home, but because they can make a better life here. Now, that's not part of the criteria.
Yeah. I mean, Narinder, are you aware... No, that's a very good point, Phil. And I just want to ask Narinder, are you aware, Narinder, that the vast majority of these Albanians young male. So they're economic migrants,
That's
Narinder.
because the young males come over because they can work. The wives and girlfriends, sisters are sat at home. They've got babies. They can't come over to make money.
Yeah, so it's
In Albania,
economic.
huge
So it's an economic
human rights
decision.
issue. They can't make money. It's poverty. The simple answer is poverty. They can come here
Okay, but
and
Narinder, what
work
do you propose?
and work
What's your
better than the
proposal then,
British
Narinder?
people
That
here.
we open up our borders to anyone who is suffering poverty in their own country? Is that your solution? Because, Narinder, you may have noticed, Narinder, we are suffering from poverty in this country now. We are suffering from poverty. How are we just going to home these people, Narinder? It's like the population of a small town every year.
Dan, you are not suffering because of immigration. You are suffering because of 12 years of Tory government.
No,
and because of
we're
the pandemic,
suffering
they
because of
poured
illegal
millions and millions
immigration.
into
Illegal
their friends'
immigration, Narinder. Daniel, I'll just give Daniel Kaczynski the last word, because Narinder says actually this is all down to the Tory government. Daniel, do you want to respond?
Money. They've wasted money.
Well, I think one of the main reasons the British people voted for Brexit, and I was a very strong advocate of that policy, and I'm very proud that Shrewsbury voted for Brexit, is because one of the things is that the British people wanted to control their borders. We are one of the most attractive destinations in the world, and we, by the way, I disagree with the other panelist. I think the United Kingdom takes a very large number of asylum seekers and refugees from all over the world, and we should be very proud of that. But at the end of the day, we have to demonstrate to the British people, now that we are completely in control over what happens on our borders, if we can't justify to them that we can control our borders, then what's the purpose of having a government?
No, very good point. Very good point. I completely agree. Oh, Narinder, final word. That was meant to be the final word, so I'm going to give you 10 seconds, Narinder.
I'm an immigrant's daughter. My parents came over and we had the same argument 40 years ago. Oh,
You came over legally.
Our jobs. We
Legally.
contributed to the society.
Yeah, but you came over legally.
We contributed to Britain.
But it was a legal process.
This is also legal. They're refugees. They're seeking asylum.
No, they're not. They're not. Narinder, they're simply not. They're in France and they're from Albania. But we'll agree to disagree. Always lovely to chat, Narinder.